Good morning to all of you, and we'll go ahead and start our session today. City Council, City audience.
I'll just go ahead and turn it over to Miss Kelly.
Well, skuktash, everybody. Anya Nyapchugi Gabriela Casas Kelly, Pisan Mo'ochkuk, Amjad. And I am so proud to be able to announce that I am the recorder-elect for Pima County Recorder.
Gabriela Casares Kelly is about to be sworn in as county recorder, where she'll watch over voting registration and early voting. She's the first Native American to hold a countywide seat in Pima County, and she swept her competition away, winning by 20 points.
Thank you for making us proud as awesome people.
This is a big, big deal, not just for Casares Kelly and the Turnout tribe, but for all Native Americans in the state. It's only been 80 years since Arizona gave these citizens the right to vote.
There's tears, there's joy. How are you feeling right now?
I'm really emotional. I'm really a lot more emotional than I expected. I feel just amazing amount of pride.
You remind people all the time that we are standing on indigenous land. Right? So when you look at that and you see your success, why did it take so long?
When you think about the Indian problem, you think that that would be like a really old concept, but this anti-native, anti-indigenous sentiment is alive and well. It's thriving everywhere. You know, it's this white supremacy that continues to persist that has kept us from even being able to just cast a vote, let alone run for office.
The reservation stretches over the southern border into Mexico. But for the Turnout people, the first Americans, boundaries and borders defy their culture.
We're approaching the Turnout Nation, and so you'll start to see the increase in militarization.
So we're going through...
So we're going through the Border Patrol checkpoint. We're still not on the nation.
What does it feel like for you when you pass these checkpoints, when there's Border Patrol agents around you and you're in your land? What does it feel like to have someone check for your ID?
I'm very angry. We didn't cross the border. The border crossed us.
When you think of your win and what it means for Native Americans and indigenous folks, do you feel like you're carrying a lot on your shoulders?
I don't feel pressured from the indigenous community. My community believes in me. And I can feel that, and I see it, and I hear it, I know it. Where I feel pressure is from the non-indigenous community who is waiting for me to F up.
Native Americans are heading to city councils, to state houses, and 6 are heading to the nation's capital, a record. And in Arizona, where Native Americans make up nearly 6% of the population and over 300,000 eligible voters, they helped deliver the state for President-elect Biden. 90% of the voters in the Turnout Indian Reservation, which encompasses 3 of the state's most populous counties, including Pima, voted Democrat this year.
So they're gonna provide a tribal flag, and we're gonna get a Turnout Nation flag for the recorder's office. Day one, baby. Yeah, so we get
chills everywhere.
Right?
Historically, Native Americans have had the lowest voter turnout in the country. Casares Kelly and her best friend, April Ignacio, have spent the last 4 years trying to change that. They founded their own chapter of a volunteer-led activist organization, Indivisible Turnout, an organization that was crucial in mobilizing voters to the polls this year.
How did you all boost voter turnout this time around?
We created events centered around voting that were fun for us, like this idea of voting and what voting can do. But we might also have a bingo, and we'd have a banana nut bread contest. You know, it's all centered around community. We're just being unapologetically Native. And what we started finding is that there is this excitement and there's interest here, but there's no way for people to come together or to show that. And, you know, we don't have candidates who come here. We don't have, you know, the shaking hands and the kissing babies. Like, they just forget about the Native communities.
What was Biden's campaign's role in turning out the Native American vote? I mean, Were they present in the area?
I think
No.
5 days before election, the Biden bus came through the nation. But Arizona participates in early voting, which means it was the very last bit of time.
stretch.
We're accustomed to that. We're accustomed to being left behind. And that's a real narrative that we're having to have in the Native community of how do you ask people to participate in a system that actively oppresses us?
Joe Biden won the state by around 11,000 votes. How much of that margin of victory was due to the Native American community?
Well, we'll take the whole credit. we're taking the whole credit. There are the Latinx, Latino communities. They have been working their asses off. But you know what? So have the Native American grassroots organizers from us down here in Tono and all the way up in Dene country.
The 117th Congress will have more Native Americans in office than ever before in history. What type of change do you guys think that'll bring?
We are always talking about the importance of having a seat at the table. And before we started getting involved in the political process, we didn't even know what tables existed that we didn't have a seat at. The potential for Native Americans to take leadership roles is there, and we're doing it. It's beneficial for all of us. I think it's a big win for Indian country.